All right. So, good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to be live. It's wonderful to be online this morning. Like I announced yesterday, that we are going to be discussing about cassava plantation, how to, start your own cassava plantation, your own cassava farm. So I'm going to be taking us through some strategies, some systems, some things that you can actually start with, and how you can start your own cassava plantation and make good profit from it within 24 months. Uh, um, so that whatever investment that you're actually putting in, by the end of the first 12 months, you can break even, and by 24 months, you can actually start earning good profit from your investment. Uh, so I'm going to go into the deep things concerning cassava farming plantation properly in this. I won't say it's going to be long, so let's just say short live class. So this class, let me just announce now that this class will also continue tomorrow. We'll continue with discussion on cashew plantation farming. So how you can also start your cashew plantation farming and earn foreign exchange from it. Yeah, one of the things I'm going to be discussing with us also in this class is how you can earn foreign exchange, how you can export cashew, no cassava, rather cassava products, how you can get foreign exchange from them. If you are joined and you are online right now and you are watching this, kindly put it at the comment section. Let me know that you can hear me clearly so that I can adjust my voice very well to suit everyone. Now, I'm going to start with AGX, the AGX group itself. Yes, even though you are watching this, I know you are watching this live video on some platforms, not only on AGX. It's also being showed on some section of Lagos School of Export Management pages, and it's also showed on AGX Farmland Estates Limited's page, on Agro Commodities Exchange page, and it's also being showed right now on Toby Daily Live page. So the whole concept of the AGX group of companies is that what we do is basically agriculture and international trade. So agriculture and international trade, what I mean is in the value chain, in that space of agricultural commodities, exporting of commodities, sale of farmlands, developing farmlands in the interiors, in the farm areas, not the urban areas like you have in Lagos, in Lekki and the sort. So we have our farm estates and farmland estates in Ogbomoso, in Oyo State. We also have our farms around there too, in Ogbomoso, in Oyo State. And most of the farms that we deal in at AGX Farmland Estates Limited is in Oyo State and Ogun State, southwestern areas of Nigeria. So now going deep into our class, this class is particularly hosted by AGX Farmland Estates Limited, because everything we are going to be discussing, which is the agricultural part, agricultural structure of our business, the farming part, everything is on our Farmland Estates company. And you can also visit our company anytime you want to at Suite 7, kilometer 36, Lekki Ekpe Expressway in Lagos, at Mobi Filling Station, Obibanwa bus stop, whenever you are coming. So our hotline is always available. You can just call us or chat us up on WhatsApp with our hotline that is always posted on our pages, on all of our pages. So now like I said, that some of the things that we do at the Farmland Estates Limited is farm estates. We have our own farmland estates. We have several agricultural investments that investors and others are like investing. So, like this investment that I'm going to be talking about, it's a scheme for you that you can buy into, that you can actually put your money into. Let's say maybe you've been searching or you've been looking towards like getting uh, a system, or you want to set up a structure. This is the end of August, so you are looking at maybe there's something you want to do before the end of 2021. The Cassava investment scheme is actually a very good thing that you can bank on, that you can put your money into. So also we also have other plantations. We have plantations like ginger plantation, we have cashew plantation, we have vegetable plantation, and several. So you can also start your own plantation farming. So you can go into mango plantation, for instance. You can go into orange plantation, for instance. So not necessarily it has to be a long or a specific kind of crop that you want to plant there. So you can have something like 50 acres of land, you can have something like 100 acres of land, 200 acres of land, 500 acres of land, and you just use it for, let's say, 5 different crop of plantation, and which you harvest from, and you earn yearly revenue from. Some of these crops you can earn revenue from it like in 3 months, every 3 months, some every 4 months, some maybe every 6 months. Why some could be annually, that is once in a year, like the cashew that we are going to be talking about tomorrow. In tomorrow's class, it only comes once in a year, like the revenue is annual. So that's also one of the things I'm going to be teaching us, discussing tomorrow. So, but for this side of cassava farming, first of all, the concept of plantation stems down from you having large parcel of land and just planting like a single crop or a particular crop on it. So it could just be that maybe you have cassava, for instance, which is what we are discussing today, and you planted it on about, let's say, 50 acres of land. That's a plantation, because by the time you get it, that's just the crop that you see there. So it could be maize, it could be any type of crop. It could be like soybean or something that you just plant, and that's just the only thing to be found on in that space of land. So like I have a client that needs about 100 hectares of land. That was last week. They just got the client's company just got a project approval from the Central Bank of Nigeria. So they had to plant cassava on 100 hectares of land. That's about 240 acres of land. So that's a huge plantation. That's something big that they want to do, that they want to put together when you actually look at something like that. So that's the concept of plantation. You can call it commercial farming for a crop that you have in mind. So maybe you've done your calculation and you know that in 3 months you get results from this crop. Maybe in 6 months you get results from that crop. Maybe in 1 year you get results from that crop. Then you do your calculations, you check out your returns, and you make your investment. So for instance, when harvest is done in plantation, because one of the advantages of you going into plantation farming is what we call off-takers. The off-taker concept is that whatever you are planting in your farm, whatever you planted in your space, you can always get people who will buy it even before you harvest. Even before you harvest, you can always get people that will buy whatever you are selling or whatever you've planted on the farm. So for this cassava, for instance, this is a period when cassava is actually expensive. And the reason why cassava is expensive right now and lots of people are going to cassava farming is because in the market there's COVID-19. Like all of us have been hearing COVID-19, there has been several lockdowns, and if you are watching advertisements, you see that the concept now to fight COVID-19 in in one of the protocols is that there has to be hand sanitizers in offices, there has to be hand sanitizers in churches, mosques, anywhere where maybe there is traffic of people are, they are going in, they are coming out, there's a lot of people, it's crowded, there has to be hand sanitizer somewhere. Now this hand sanitizer boom, just about 2 years ago, people know what hand sanitizer is, but not everyone was using hand sanitizer. Some people just neglect it, they don't even think about it. But now, right now, everyone has hand sanitizers in their bag. Offices, churches, mosques, if you go to the supermarkets, malls, from the entrance, they'll put a drop of hand sanitizer in your hand for you to, rub your fingers together and all that. And this hand sanitizer, one of its major properties that's used in making it is the fluid gotten from cassava. So when cassava is processed, the fluid and all that. So a huge amount of cassava was used in making, the water, the fluid from cassava was used in making hand sanitizer, and that has, caused the price of cassava to boom in the market. So that's why right now, currently cassava is selling 30, 35, 40,000 naira per ton, depending on where you are getting it from, the one who is selling it. Some years back, it wasn't like that. Some years back, it was just maybe 10,000 naira per ton, or even lesser than 10,000 naira, 15,000 naira a ton. Maybe highest 18, 19, 20,000 naira per ton. So that's one thing about cassava right now. So cassava, the price is high in the market. Now, not forgetting that in markets, in marketplace, every item, every product has when the demand is high or when the supply is higher than the demand, or when the demand is higher than the supply. So we know how this law of economics affects the marketplace, products in the marketplace. So if there is a lot of cassava in the market and maybe the demand for it is actually low, the price will fall. So which means that one of the things you have to consider in plantation farming is how to control the cost, the price of whatever that you are planting. When you want to sell it, how do you make sure that you make good profit, you make good gain from it? And one way to do that is actually to work with off-takers. So that's one way you can actually mitigate the risk of glut in the market, or maybe something happened, maybe a government policy, maybe an act of God, or whatever happened, and there's a surplus of that commodity in the market at the time when you made your harvest, when your harvest also happened. So if you look at that, one way to work that price thing out, the glut, is to have off takers. So if you have off takers that you already signed, like let's say 5-year contract with, 10-year contract with, the off taker will just keep buying from you every time, so whenever you have harvest, they pay, they take everything and they pay. Now, one strategy that you can always work with is, even when you plant and you planted on 50 acres of land, for instance, you can invite the companies, the partners, uh, whoever is the key partners that you know that they are going to help you in of taking the produce from the farm. They will come to your farm, they will look at it. If they see the metrics, the mitigations you've put in place to cover for the risk and all that, they can pay you advance, that even before harvesting from your plantation, from your farm, you are already earning money from it. So these are some of the ways and tools that I want to break down to you in this class. Now, one of the mistakes that people make when we are discussing plantation farming, or one of the errors of thoughts or their thinking, is they think that you have to buy the land, and buying the land you are spending about maybe 6 million naira, maybe 5 million naira in purchasing the land that you want to use for farming. Now, one thing is, it's actually not a must for you to buy the land. So you must always note that you can also lease the land. Leasing is just a concept in which it's just like maybe you rented. When you rent something, you rent it for like an amount of time, like there's a time frame for it. Maybe, okay, I want to rent a camera for a day, that I'm going to use it for maybe 6 hours in a day. Then you pay, then you return it once the time elapses. The agreement that you have with the company or the person that actually rented that equipment to you. So it's also the same process or concept with leasing. A lot of companies, a lot of businesses are on leased lands or leased properties. So maybe you and the landowner, maybe you have a kind of agreement that you are going to use the land for 5 years or 10 years. Then they let you know maybe per hectare, this is how much you have to pay per hectare or per acre. Then after paying, you can start using the land for that number of years. Once that number of years elapse, they will give you a receipt after paying. So that receipt, it starts counting. So once that number of years is complete, the landowner who actually leased the land to you can still ask if you still want to lease, or he has the right to actually tell you, okay, I'm no longer leasing, I want to use the land. Then you search for another land to use. So this could be like your strategy. Your strategy could be to lease the land, farm on the land. Then you can now use the returns from the land to acquire a larger portion or parcel of land for you to continue your plantation, or even to expand into what you are doing. So there's also something called lease to buy. Lease to buy, whereby you have an agreement with the landowner that, okay, if this is 50 acres, this 50 acres, I'm going to lease it for 3 years. At the end of the 3 year, I'm going to pay you so amount, and the land becomes mine. So he's going to just look at it, okay, maybe in the next 3 years, the land is supposed to be selling at so amount, that which means maybe because due to valuation or due to development, the land price is actually supposed to have increased. But because you are doing that negotiation at that particular time, the landowner can look at it, okay, so I'm still going to sell it to you at this price that I'm supposed to sell it this year to you in 3 year time, but between now and that 3 year time, between now and to complete the 3 year time, you are paying for leasing. So you're actually leasing the land, you use it to farm, then whatever you are getting from there, you pay the landowner to acquire the land. So these are simple logic, simple processes that you can use to start your own plantation. Then apart from starting your own plantation, to actually become a land owner yourself, to own 100 acres of land, 500 acres of land, 1,000 acres of land. Now, when you are investing in residential estates, this is actually very important. And at the same time, you have to also look at it that, okay, maybe the land you're actually targeting to buy in the urban area is 4 million naira per plot. A plot, a plot size, let's say maybe 600 square meters. Now, you also have maybe now you are saving, maybe your income is not enough, maybe you are struggling to actually achieve that goal and all that. You can actually diversify into farming, into agriculture with whatever you have, and buy an acre of land. An acre of land, you can get an acre of land as less as 100,000 naira per acre. Yes, farmland. So when we are talking about agricultural real estate, it's completely different from residential real estate, the ones you have in the urban areas. In fact, in some states or in some areas, you can't get farmlands because all the lands around there has been developed into residential estates and all that. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that this message or this class can be what you've actually been waiting for, to start investing in real estate from the angle of agricultural real estate, so that it's not a must that you first start by buying a residential real estate. You can actually start with an agricultural real estate. So that could be your strategy from now. So before you know it, if you have 1 million naira, for instance, you can use 1 million naira to buy 10 acres of land. 10 acres of land, look at it, 1 acre of land is 6 plots. Is 6 plots. That is 6 multiplied by 10. That is 60 acres. That's 60 plots. 60 plots of land. 6 plots is 1 acre. So if you have 10 acres, that's 60 plots of land. All with how much? 1 million naira. 1 good million naira. So just think about that for a moment and reflect on it. So, and from what you do on that land or from your investment on that land, you can actually go on to acquire thousands and thousands and thousands of acres of land. It is very, very possible. So you can lease, farm, buy. Lease to buy. Maybe in one of our classes, upcoming classes, I'm going to do some detailing into agricultural real estate and how you can make millions of naira from it in a very short time. So, but now the strategy I'm actually presenting to you is, you lease, you farm, and you buy the land. You lease the land. Let's say you lease 50 acres of land for 5 years, or for 3 years, or for 2 years. Then you make sure that everything going on that land is well done, is neatly done, is strategically done, is solid. Once harvest is happening and your money is coming, you use that revenue to acquire the land. So the land becomes yours and you still continue farming on the land. So that's one. So now, how do you break even on your cassava plantation in 24 months? So this is the first thing. The first thing is not the acquisition of the land, but leasing the land. Then plowing, making sure it's cleared and there's no obstruction. The tractor plows and neat work is done. Then the cassava stems are bought. They come in and those are the laborers who will plant it, they plant it. Just give your cassava about 12 months to harvest. So if you are planting now, you are giving it a time frame of 12 months. So let's say like by the 10th, 11th month, you can harvest and everything is sold off by the 12 months you have your money with you. So just give it a 12 months time frame for whatever that you're actually planting. Now, when you plant cassava, it doesn't mean you can't plant any other thing, because cassava goes hand in hand with maize. A lot of people intercrop maize with cassava. So if you are starting on 50 acres portion of land, the maize that you've planted will also yield something for you. Now, for dried maize, because of the hike in commodities prices in 2021, if you are a good follower of our page, Agro Commodities Exchange, on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, you'll see that that's AGX Africa. You'll see that we do a lot of commodities export, commodities trading and supply. So this year, dried maize actually was about 280,000 naira per ton, 300 to 320 to 330,000 naira per ton. Yeah, commodity prices were brutal this year because of the increase in kidnappings in the north, increase in all these headsmen and all that. So there are even some places in Nigeria that we couldn't go to for us to get commodities that we want to export. And there are several export contracts that we had to cancel this year. In fact, I still have someone still talking to me this morning on copper ore, and the thing is, yes, the places where we are supposed to do some of those commodities is dangerous to actually go move along those routes now. So we are just trying to keep things cool. So what I'm trying to say in essence is, commodities right now, if you go into commodities farming, you will get a lot out of it, because right now commodities prices are on the increase, and it's still going to be on the increase. We don't see it coming down yet. So if you look at this 24 months break-even plan that I'm presenting to you, is actually very, very feasible. Now, what you might be looking at is, okay, cassava, why is it talking about cassava? Why not talk about this? Why not talk about that? What are the benefits of cassava itself in the market? So I'm going to just talk about maybe one or two things that you can get from cassava. Like I already said it earlier in the class, that cassava is used in making hand sanitizer products because of the water from it. So now, but other things you can get from cassava, you can get cassava chips. Yes, cassava chips is one of the very expensive commodities that you can export from Nigeria to Southeast Asian countries. The demand for lots of cassava chips from Nigeria, and people don't usually supply because it takes some processes, and those processes, there are no automated machine to really do that. So you can be looking at this or watching this class right now. You have the financial capacity, maybe you even have the land already. Some of us, our parents, our forefathers, they have lands. They have 100 acres somewhere, they have 200 acres somewhere, they have 500 acres somewhere. Acres of land that you've never even been there. Maybe your father has never even spoken about it in a very long time. Maybe you don't even know it's there. So you could want to ask, you might want to ask your parents, you might want to ask your dad, your mom, that do you have land in the village that we can use for farming? And they will let you know. They'll also start thinking of it once you let them understand the benefits, or what they can get from that farmland. So now this land, you can actually now take it up and start using it for your plantation, for what you want to do. So you can get cassava chips. You have this money, you can use it to get the drying machines, to actually make cassava chips out of harvested cassavas. So all the processing, and you just dry it, you just pack it in bags and you export it, and you are getting close to about $10,000 per ton of cassava chips when you are exporting to Asian countries. So you can do the conversion with today's naira. At the same time, there's cassava flour that is used in making bread and some other products that cassava flour is good for. The popular gari that everybody eats, everyone eats. Yoruba has their own gari. There's Ijebu gari. There's Egba gari. There's gari from Oyo. There's gari from Kila. You have the Igbo gari, the yellow gari, and all that. And you also have starch. You get starch from cassava. You get hand sanitizers, like I already mentioned, from cassava. So these are products that you can get from cassava. So cassava in the market, even at the glut period, you will still make gain from your plantation. So let's say, there's a lot of cassava in the market. Cassava is not selling right now. The demand is low, and you will still make profits. You won't make losses from it. So if your target is to break even and make profit in 24 months and start making profit, so why not? It's something that you just be doing extensively, and you just be increasing the number of acres that you are working on. So now, how can we help you to put this cassava plantation together at AGX Farmland Estates Limited? We have the land. Several of our lands have title. We have CFO. We have the CFO. We have global CFO. So several of our lands has title that you don't have to worry about security. You don't have to worry about government and all that. You can just go on with processing of your own governor's consent on the land. And some don't have the CFO. You have to do your registered survey and process your CFO and all that. So we have the land that we can give you, that you can use. Apart from that, we can also support you in the farming operation. We can help you make things happen on your farm. We can manage the process on your behalf. We can make sure that the laborers, they are doing what they are supposed to do. They are doing it the right way, so that you can get the right result with time. Now, we can also help you with taking whatever you are producing from your farm. So you don't have to worry about marketing. You don't have to worry about sales. If you have the capacity and you are actually buying up the land, you acquire the land, 50 acres of land, 100 acres of land, and this plantation is set up for you. You set up with maize, and you are making profit already. Even within your first 12 months, you are making profit, because maize will only take about 6 months, and you are earning from it. You can leave it to dry and sell it dry. You can sell it fresh, however you like. So all these processes, we can make sure to monitor them on your behalf. We can make sure to monitor them, to make sure that everything that is needed is actually performed. So at the end of the day, the harvest is made and we sell it off, and you get your earning from it. And don't forget that as we are harvesting, we're also preparing the land to plant the next cycle on it. So looking at that, you can get as high as 40% return on your investment, 50% return on your investment. If you are including maize in what you are doing, which you can plant like twice in a year, you just have to structure out the plans, which once that is done, you can get up to 60% return on your investment if you are intercropping with maize. So you can actually break even on your investment in 12 months, at the 24th month, when you are doing all your calculation of the harvest and everything, you are actually making profits, not just breaking even. You've broken even, you are making profits now, that you can say, okay, let me acquire this land, let me buy everything, let me, and you just put everything in place as it is supposed to be. Okay, so this will be all for today on cassava plantation farming. So tomorrow I intend to go into cashew plantation. So I'm going to be giving us some analysis, some very, very crazy figures, some interesting profits that you can make from cashew plantation farming. So which we have some you and that will profit you. So till tomorrow, till then, I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.